Hello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another Demystify the Divine weekly readings and tools to connect. And happy holiday, and welcome to the final Demystify show of 2022. And I'm looking forward to these last final days of 2022 to sort of leave all of the chaos that has been in this year for me behind, so that 2023 can be bright and shiny and brand new, and I want to say clean slate. And Keone, hi, I didn't get a chance to say hello to you before we started the show. So happy holidays and all that jazz, and hoping that you had a good break, if it was really a break.
I'm just preparing myself for my dance solo if this person shows up.
Awesome. I love that. Well, I can't wait to see the dance. Do I get to know what the music is?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much to everyone for showing up. For those of you who are brand new to the show, we're so happy to have you here. We do a smattering of things on this show. We do channelings and card pulls and guidance for the week and words of the day or words of the week and phrases of the week. And we also do a really special grab your deck section where you get to grab your own tarot deck or your own oracle deck. And I channel some questions from our dream team to help you take the general message and really bring it into, I want to say, the individual space for yourself. So yeah, it's jam-packed, really excited to be connecting with you all. And for those of you who are always loyal followers and coming on in, so happy to be joining in and sharing in your energy tonight. And let's definitely make this evening a celebration. And for some of you I know are joining on the other half of the world, it's a morning. Let's make this morning a celebratory time to say thank you to 2022 for all that it brought, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because in the end, it's all good. It's all for our highest and best. And really take the next few days to clear out what you need to not bring with you. You know, pack light. I should have actually pulled the Fool card out in tarot, but the Fool always shows the person with their, I forget, it's like a satchel. I think it's called a satchel or something. But anyway, it's like a bag on a stick, and they got the stick on their, on their shoulder, and the bag is a pack light. It's a carry-on. It's the modern day version of a carry-on. So you can only take a carry-on. What are you bringing with you into 2023? What do you think you're going to need? And keep in mind, when you're open and you're following your intuition and tapping into the spidey senses, that psychic guidance, it really eliminates things that you think you need in the physical. Because if you're really co-creating, if you're really manifesting and you're tapping in, you know that at any given moment, all you have to do is ask and it's going to show up. So that's a big challenge, I think, for us in 2023 is how are we going to, I want to say, prove the pack light theory right. We're going to prove it by opening ourselves. Oh, big earthquake, Mr. Neo making his presence known. We're going to prove it by, maybe really focusing on what it feels like to live a fully intuitively guided path. Let's take the first week of January and do that. Every day you tune in, you don't make a decision unless it's something that comes from your dream team, from your guides, from your high self. What a fun experiment that would be to see what all of that sort of entails. So without further ado, I'm going to go into my happy place. And I'm just going to say right now, which it has been for the last month, I'm a little pie in the sky tonight, in case you're looking at me and going, whoo, like, is she on something? I'm not. I've just been in the clouds all day. It's my year in preview season. And that means that I'm basically doing nonstop talking for anywhere between 6 and 9 hours a day. So today's been I want to say a medium day. I've been talking for about 7.5. So it'll be 8.5 by the end of the show. But I still have some spots available in the year in preview. It's my service that is so popular. People love it. And I love to do it. It's always fascinating to get information. Can you please advise on how I can go about booking a session? Yes. Keone, do you have a link, direct link to my website, to the booking?
Yes.
Go to perfect. So throw that in the chat. It's theblackfeatherintuitive.com, and it'll take you to my website. And there are a number of tabs up there. You're going to go to sessions, or book a session, I think is what it says. And all of my sessions are listed. 30-minute, 60-minute experiences for regular guidance. The year in preview is available on there. I have guidance on the goes, dreams interpreted, channeled wisdom experience. I'm about to channel in a second here. If you want a personal channeling, me tapping into the guides that want to talk to you directly with a direct message for you, channeled wisdom is the service for you. So yes, it is posted in our chat. So thank you so much for asking that question, and would love to be able to connect with you with whatever service you're feeling called to at this time. So I'm going to go into my happy place, and let's see what we get in terms of a word of the week. Harvest the gold. Harvest the gold. So I don't know much about what it feels like to, mine for gold, but from what I understand, it can be kind of a messy business and a bit of a tedious business, because you have to sift through a lot of dirt and grime and pyrite, fool's gold, and other minerals and rocks and things, in order to be able to find the actual true gold substance. And isn't that in many ways what we do when we grow, when we focus on our own self-awareness, when we have to do those deep dives within, in order to be able to make shifts or changes, or to realign ourselves with where we're going. And so harvesting the gold, it's the idea of, okay, I'm having to do the work. Harvest implies, okay, great, there's a lot of stuff that's here, but there's still a lot of work involved in making it useful, or making use of it, being able to make use of it. So I feel like this week, they're indicating harvesting the gold is about, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier with the 2022. It's really giving yourself the opportunity to take a really good look at what in your life has been working, those gold nuggets of wisdom, those things that you've worked hard to sort of piece together that now fit into that trajectory of your life, connected to your vision, connected to your purpose, your path. And what areas of your life, or things that are in your life, are maybe the fool's gold, or maybe even the minerals that you're having to still sift through. Maybe you're a person that, I know it's been me for 2022, sifting through all sorts of things. So this week, focus on taking advantage of, even if it's a little tiny flake of gold, celebrate it, harvest it. When we harvest, it means we have intention of using it. We have intention of applying it. Where in your life can you apply those little nuggets of wisdom that you gained from 2022? We all have them. And even though I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm so glad for 2022 to be over. I was just talking about this with friends the other day. There are two really significant moments in 2022 that really are joyful, put a smile on my face, really were the highlight of the whole year. And there's a long list of things that transpired in 2022 that were really hard, really difficult, that I'm still sort of processing through, working through, trying to navigate and figure out. And yet I can say to you, the human side of me says, yeah, all that's bad and this was good. And it's easy to just sort of compartmentalize or do the extremes of things. Every single one of the negatives, the deeming negatives that are on my list, are actually there to help me. And I can see how it's going to change how I do things moving forward. It's shifting the way that I am connecting with myself and others, the way that I am involving myself in my own life. So I feel like when we're talking about the harvesting the gold, it's an invitation to not just look for the obvious chunks of gold that are sitting out in the open. It's the sifting through in order to really find those gold. Because let's face it, when you have to do all of that work for that piece of gold feels more valuable than perhaps the ones that, I mean, it's a treat to find the one right on the top that's, ginormous. It's the size of your hand. Woohoo! I struck gold. That's awesome. The ones that really have value are the ones that we have to do a little work to receive. And I'm not saying that everything has to be work. It doesn't. We're actually shifting into an energy where we're letting go. We're leaving behind, packing light. We're leaving behind a lot of these limiting beliefs about, you put in, you get out what you put in. And, you need to, no pain, no gain, and things of that nature. That's not what I'm saying here. I feel very much that harvesting the gold is saying, don't leave behind the little chunks and the little chips, because those things are almost more valuable, especially when you gather all of those things up. It might even be an even bigger piece than the one that was right on the top. So I feel like it's an invitation this week to not be surface. It's an invitation this week to go under the surface, to sift through your 2022 and to really pull out those nuggets of wisdom or those little chips or flakes of wisdom, because they all have meaning, they all matter, and they're all important, even if we are not seeing it, observing it, perceiving it as such at this time. I'm also feeling like on a global perspective, we're all in the process of harvesting a new energy, sort of a new energy at large. And yes, we've been doing that for 3 years. I feel like, every time I rewatch one of these things, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm always saying the same freaking thing. It's the energy that we're in, but these energies are also shifting and changing and molding now. It's not that it's fresh and brand new and coming in. It's here now and it's anchored. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do with this anchored energy? How are we alchemizing? How are we interacting with the energy in order to be able to make it work for us? So I feel like the harvest is also from a collective energy and a collective vantage point. We as a collective are being called to work with the energy that's already there. It's there. It's been planted. It's been growing. We've been nurturing it. So now let's use it. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? That goes without saying. If you're not picking the apples off the tree, eventually the apples are going to rot and fall off the tree. And yeah, they go back into the ground as nutrients for the soil. Maybe the birds, and the squirrels get to take advantage, but we don't. So this is our opportunity to harvest what's there. It's a reminder to harvest what is already there. It's an important message to understand that we're no longer in the space and the place of trying to create something or seeking it out or trying to grasp at straws to bring it all in to sort of make it make sense. It's already there. I won't say there's order to chaos, because I feel like we're still in very much a creative space, which is chaotic. But I will say to you, there is some order within the chaos, and that is what we need to harvest. That's what we need to use. If we don't use it, we're going to lose it. All right, interesting message. Okay, I'm going to pull cards first before I do a channeling, Keone. So I don't know. We didn't get a chance to talk. Did you get my text?
I did. I got them in there. I heard you saying it, and I figured you were doing one or two things. You were speaking to text me the name of the cards, or you were having some crazy psychotic breakdown with the words that you were saying into your phone. It was either one of the two.
I was doing both at the same time, because you were probably watching me. I was voice dictating to my assistant to fit something in real quick before I got on the phone.
I was watching you jump around, and I was like, first, I've never seen you come on. This is the only time you've come on like 45 seconds before show starts.
I don't even think it was 45. You were already playing the intro, and I sat my butt down, and I was like, oh, okay, we're on.
Well, calm down, Ragu. I'm not dancing yet. Okay, so, jeez. My Cash App is no, but yeah, it was good. I got it, and so it's nice and in here. I'm in the clouds too, by the way. So
Awesome. Well,
yeah,
we're both in the clouds together.
it's not because of my day. But moving right along, I have them in, and we are ready.
Okay, great. So tell me what time it is.
It is time for. I remember when I used to sing it, but now I don't do it anymore.
Oh, awesome. You can always sing along, Keone. I would love that. That'd be awesome. All right, so we are going to pull cards first. I'm not sure if a channeling is going to come through today or not. I'm going to ask. It might be short and sweet. We'll see what happens, but I'm definitely doing the card pull today. So Ethereal Dreams Tarot by Model Society. This is a brand spanking new deck that I got through a Kickstarter campaign. You guys know I love to support independent tarot and oracle deck producers, and this is one that I've been waiting on for months, and it showed up just before Christmas in my mailbox. It's beautiful imagery. So let's see what the message is for us. All right, we've got, so Queen of Spades is actually Queen of Pentacles in this deck, and it's labeled Spring. So definitely feeling here, we're talking about harvest, which is actually autumn, and now they're giving us sort of the opposite, which is the spring. And what do we think of when we're thinking spring? We're thinking new birth, new growth. Everything is awesome. Everything is fresh, and we still need to nurture it. We still need to love it and to protect it and make sure it's got what it needs. But nature is growing. Nature is bringing us something new. And Queen of Pentacles is an awesome card because Queen of Pentacles is about abundance. Queen of Pentacles is also about, I want to say, stability and generosity with that level of stability. So, you know, I've got all my resources. I've got all of my needs met and then some. So you need something, come to me. I'll wrap you in my arms of love. I will, sing you a song. I will get you whatever it is that you need. And I might even teach you either how to use it or how to create it for yourself. But there's definitely love and there's no strings attached. And so I feel like what's coming up for us in terms of the weekly message, it's understanding that with an ending always comes a new beginning. So with the fall and things sort of dying off or coming to an end or being invited to use what is there, we need to be out of that, I want to say, lack mentality of, well, if I use it, there's not going to be anything left over. It's understanding, no, you're using it and we're already replenishing it. There's already an energy that's coming in and bringing some news. So I feel like there's a general message about not getting into scarcity, not falling into the trap of once I use it, it's gone and it's gone for good. It's shifting our perspective. It's releasing a limiting belief that there's only so much to go around. We are in an energy where we can create whatever it is that we need. We are resourceful if we get out of our own way, if we get out of the patterns and cycles of what has been, I want to say, established, what we've been told to think, believe, to follow, to do for so long. It's critical thinking for yourself. Queen of Pentacles encourages this because pentacle energy is thoughts becoming things in the physical. It's the thing manifested. So she's proof. She says, I'm living proof that what you're manifesting, what you're co-creating is going to become. I'm living proof that when you pack light and you have an intuitive thought in your head about what it is that you might need or what you're going to be doing that day and what you might need to be able to do that, I'm living proof that you're going to have exactly what you need to make it happen. So I feel like the message here is really about getting out of scarcity and really stepping into abundance and trust. And this is a difficult one. It's a difficult one for me too. It's fully trusting that the universe truly has our front, back, sides, bottom, and top. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, I have had so many experiences where it's the 11th hour. I don't know how anything is going to transform or transpire. And all of a sudden it shows up, and it shows up in the most random of ways. And I've also had experiences where I've gotten in my own way and I haven't trusted. I haven't believed, or I've had experiences where I've received the guidance to do the thing. I do the thing, and it doesn't turn out the way that I think it's going to turn out. It's not giving me what I need in that moment. And I question it and think, did I miss the message? Did I screw it up? What is happening with all of this? I don't understand it. And months later, it shows up, oh, if I had actually gotten the thing that I thought I wanted, it would have screwed everything up. It's not actually what I needed at that time. And that's the catch about intuition and about our manifestation. I say this to clients all the time, especially when you're calling for a session. I'll say, listen, sometimes we don't get what we want in a session. We might not hear what we want to hear, but we always get what we need. And that is the truth. And I feel like that's part of the message that's coming up and coming through right now is the guidance is saying, you're going to have everything that you possibly need, but don't get in your own way about it. Just because it doesn't show up exactly the narrow-minded way that you're seeing it through your own lens, it doesn't mean that your intuition is off. It doesn't mean that you're not getting what you need. It's just you're coming around it or coming about it in a very different way. So Queen of Pentacles is saying, listen, I got this. I got this for you. I'm putting structure around what you're asking. I'm also reminding you with a loving butt kick that you can create everything that you need, but you have to step into that space of trust. The second we stop trusting, we get in our own way. We stop the clock, or we start the clock over. It's like a reset. It's a reset of our manifestation. That's hard for us too. How do you manifest something and then, it just doesn't show up right away and you're like, okay, universe, I manifested it yesterday. Okay, I'm going to manifest it again today. What you're telling the universe is, I don't trust you, universe, to bring me what I need. I don't believe that it's mine. I don't believe that I'm entitled to it. I don't believe that I can just reach out and grab it at any time. Queen of Pentacles is coming through to say, I call BS on that. It is available to you, and come to me and I'll teach you how to get there. I'll give it to you and I'll teach you how to get there for yourself. So I feel like they're really giving us messages to help us to apply for ourselves in these final days. Sorry, I keep rubbing my nose. It's not the cat hair today, which is unusual. Normally it is. It's actually a sort of an allergy thing that I have where my nose starts to itch. So no, I'm not picking my nose. No, it's not a psychic thing. It's more of an annoyance of, oh my God, I'm going to just claw my nose off.
I thought I was about to win some money in the lottery or something. And
yeah, no, it's me just going, oh, why does it always pick the wrong time to explode when I'm in front of the camera, and then everybody thinks I'm doing weird shit. I can't tell you how many times I have to explain that. I'm on with clients and I'm like, okay, so just so you know, it's a weird thing. It's not a tick. It's not a whatever. This is what it is.
It's one of those, hey, it's what you got. It goes with the territory. If you break wind and pass gas, they're like, does that mean I'm going to be rich? What just happened? Stacy passed gas. What does that mean?
I certainly did not do that. I certainly did not. I would prefer this to that. Just saying.
You got to make it like something was happening, Do you have a dead aunt that had gastro problems? Yes. Okay, there you go.
Well, that explains my issues. Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, so our guides basically this week, I feel the messaging is really about taking, here's what we've got. Here's what we've presented. Here's what you've worked towards. Here's what you've manifested. And now it's time for you to actually dig in. It's no longer time to cry about it. It's no longer time to say, I don't understand it and what's happening and all of those things that we do and that we feel. They're saying, okay, do it. Do all of that. Have all of those experiences. And here's now how you can make it work for you. Here's how you can apply it. So let's see what our oracle reading is for this week. This deck I really like. It's very connected to starseed energy. So if you happen to be a starseed, this is a deck that I feel that you'll resonate a lot with. And if you're not a starseed, you're still going to get a lot from it. It's really cool imagery, high frequency energy. You can tell, this is Kyle Gray. You can tell when Kyle was receiving this information, downloading this information, he was in a very high frequency state. I keep seeing him and I don't I don't like, actually, I love him and I love his decks, but I don't actually like follow him on social media. I don't follow anyone really on social media. So I don't know anything about the history of this deck, but I always get this vision of him being sort of like in a shaman's tent, or doing like a sweat lodge or something like that, where he receives all of this stuff that's sort of coming in. So yeah, here it is, and here's our message. Temple of Truth, throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. So when we're talking about Queen of Pentacles, and she's saying, you know, come one, come all, I have what you need. I'm putting structure around it, and you can take what you need, and you can also learn how to make use of it for yourself. I am the embodiment of manifestation. Temple of Truth is coming through to say, what is your truth? And if you notice, I've kind of been mentioning about limiting beliefs. So when we talk about Temple of Truth, it's what is it that I believe? And when we talk about limiting beliefs, a limiting belief can be something that you were raised with, that you never bothered to question, simply because it was just always the way it was done. I have a friend who shared this funny story about great grandmother's meatloaf, and the recipe. They would read the recipe, her handwritten recipe, and they would always follow the recipe. And they would take some of the roast. They would create it all, and then they would cut the roast. They'd cut a third of the roast off, put it to the side. They'd put it in a different thing, and then they put the rest in the roast in the roaster pan, and off they would go. And one time they actually got an opportunity to, I don't know if it was asking her directly or it was asking someone else who was in the know, but just out of curiosity, we've been doing this for 30 or 40 years. Why? What is the purpose? What purpose does it serve to have to cut off one piece of the meatloaf and then, put it in a different pan or whatever? And the answer was, oh, well, my roaster pan was too small and it never fit. So I always had to cut a portion of it off. And I mean, what a great story. Like, all of these generations have been doing the same thing and following the same recipe, never asking the question, why is something done in the way that it is? And when they finally did, it was something that had absolutely nothing to do with what made the recipe so good. It was in that moment, based on what she had, that's what she did. And she wrote it down so that she would remember to do that every time she made the pan, or the roast. So I feel like this is coming through to give everyone the opportunity to ask questions, to question your beliefs. Is this belief still serving me? Is it really my truth? Is it authentic to who I'm becoming? And each and every one of us wants to ask ourselves that question. It's not so much the who am I now. That's important. We need to be in that space. But it's the who am I becoming? And I would take it a step further. Who am I choosing to become? What is my temple of truth? Each of us, I want to give you a little bit of homework. Each of us tonight, before we go to bed, we can connect with this temple of truth. So before you go to bed at night, call in your angels, call in your guides, and say, tonight, I want to visit my personal temple of truth. I want to remember the important stuff. So help me, you're going to share it to me in dream form, or you're going to give it to me in symbols or, sentences or whatever. Whatever you give it, however you give it to me, I want to be able to remember it and retain it, so that I can write it down and recall it for later. Visit your temple of truth, and then just notice what comes up and what comes through. It might take a couple of nights. It might happen right away, but be open to what comes through, because I feel like that is, in essence, kind of what we're opening the door to in this 2023, is opening to the temple of truth. Oh, and I just thought of this too. 2023 is a 7-year. 7 is a magical number. It's all about manifesting. And it's the point of manifestation right before you give it off, sort of hand it off to the universe. It's the period of manifestation where you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. You're making sure that everything you are asking for is accurate to what it is that you actually really want. Truth. You're evaluating what you're manifesting before you actually manifest it. So Temple of Truth is really, really important today. I also want to say authenticity. That's been a word that's been thrown around for a few years now, especially in our own, I want to say sort of the self-awareness community, the spiritual community. What does it really mean? What it really means is just being yourself. How many of us still struggle to show up and just be ourselves? I know that I come on live, I do what I do, you get what you get. This is me. There are still moments in my sort of personal life or private life where I still have a hard time just showing up and being me. Usually it's in public. Usually I'm having some kind of, weird anxiety thing, a social anxiety moment, or I'm running into somebody that I'm awkward and I don't know what the hell I'm going to say here, or I'm afraid that I'm going to say the wrong thing. So I have difficulty sort of just being in my authentic space. And yet I don't really have a difficult time just being me and being authentic. Every once in a while it pops up. So notice this week where you are fully embracing your authenticity and where you might struggle or where you might feel a little bit triggered, or you might go, that's not usually me. And yet I was tongue-tied, or wow, I don't know who that was that just showed up, but there they were. And I need to pay attention to that. That there's an aspect of me that is still feeling a little self-conscious or a little shy or a little uncomfortable or a little awkward or, whatever it is, a little angry. Ooh, there's some resentment coming up. I might want to take a look at that. Keep in mind all of this stuff that's coming up in this next few days. It's coming up so that you can acknowledge it and leave it behind. We're packing light. You can't you can't pack a suitcase. I don't care how much money you have, how much money you pay, you're not packing the suitcase. You can only take the carry-on. So what are you taking with you this year? All right, I'm going to say I'm not going to do a direct channeling tonight just because I can feel my energy. I'm a little overworked today. So please forgive me with that. Let's shift into the question, the Q&A portion for today. I'm going to go into my happy place and get a couple of questions that we can ask in relation to our card pulls and our word of the week or our phrase of the week. And I hope that you guys are okay with that today.
Stacy is really pressured today. She's saying all types of things and not saying some things, but that's okay. She's not even noticing my wardrobe change because she is heavily into this. Okay.
Oh my God. Now I'm super excited to see you dance. It's like a Chippendale dance. You're just missing the white bow tie.
Oh, give me a second. I'm still just amazed that Ragu wants this more than Indu. That's the only problem. And Richard, I think it's Richard. Richard's been on me, so I'm by my estimation old. So I know some people will say you're not old, but listen, I'm 44. I'm 27 on Facebook, so it kind of balances out. But it's been a great year. You were talking about episodes that you love to do and things that you like to do. Hey, this year what happened is we teamed up before, I think it was May. When we started around May, right?
March. We started in March.
Oh, geez. You feel like an eternity.
I know. I was thinking that too, that it feels like we've been together forever.
The show was done. I wasn't in existence. The show was a lot more, formal. It was a lot more serious. It made more sense. And then this wackadoo named Keone came on in March and totally wrecked everything. And so we've been having fun. So I enjoy doing this with you. Those of you who don't know, I own Keone Productions, and there's about 16 other different types of web shows that I produce on my channel. And I connected with Stephanie through a mutual friend. And she's like, I need someone. Stacy, I've been dealing with Stephanie's all day. So
you always do.
I work with 2 Stephanies, and I have about 4 Stephanies that are students that I coach, which I hope never watch this live, at least the ending of it. But anyway, we connected, and then you said, "Hey, can you produce my live for me?" And I said, "Sure." I remember the first couple episodes where I didn't know where to cut in, and I would just let you talk for 50 minutes straight.
Yep. Well, because that's what I'm used to doing. I'm used to always being the chief cook and bottle washer. So to have somebody there that is stepping in and saying, okay, I can do this and this and this for you, I'm like, oh, this is fabulous.
And Indu and Ragu has been here like all but 1 week since March. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Christy Joe is usually here. Try Red was here in the beginning a lot. And then you joined it up with Facebook, and then we get the Sue Rushes and the Melissas and all the people I had no idea about because I don't do anything on your Facebook, only on YouTube, and then
Right.
YouTube family. So it's kind of cool to meet all the people who enjoy you on Facebook as well.
Yes. And I'm so grateful to everyone who shows up and is just so loyal and supportive because, you know, I used to do these shows pre-recorded. And doing them live, part of the reason why I was hesitant to go live is because I was afraid I was going to be talking to myself. Like there was going to be nobody that would care and show up. And every week I'm always amazed that there are people that actually show up live to watch the show. So thank you to everyone for that.
And now because of Facebook, they actually show up to watch you. They used to just come to watch me, and now they're here listening to you. So it's a win-win.
No, I think it's great. Yes, and thank you to the Facebook peeps, and thank you to the YouTube peeps. I got some questions for us.
What's our questions?
All right. So our first question today is, how can I harvest my gold from 2022? I figured that would be, we'll go with beyond the nose. How can I harvest my gold from 2022? And the second question is, what energy can I lean into to support my truth? So we were talking a lot about limiting beliefs. So what energy can I lean into to support my truth? And I'm happy to do card pulls for anyone that would like a card pull tonight.
All right. Well, first up, you already know they're always the first to pop in since we started doing the live guests. So welcome, Indu.
Hi, Stacey.
Hello, my beautiful lady. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. I see the wardrobe change, so it looks like the music's going to come on soon, and it's going to be like footloose and fancy free.
Whoa, Footloose. Oh, I'm not running through a barn like Kevin Bacon. Okay.
Well, Indu, I'm just as surprised as you are about this. I actually, to be honest, forgot entirely about the whole dance.
You did? Oh my God, no.
This is awesome. I am thrilled. I can't wait to see what he's going to
They reminded me of in the chat before we even started. But before I pop out, Indu, if you're gonna quote an 80s movie for me to do, you don't want me to do Footloose dancing. You want it to be Dirty Dancing. Yeah.
Ooh.
All
All right,
whatever.
Bring it on. Awesome, Indu. So do you have cards of your own tonight, or would you like me to pull cards?
Yes, ma'am. I'm pulling both the cards from the same deck, the Kali Oracle.
Oh, I'm so excited. All right. So first card pull. How can I harvest my gold from 2022?
Well, I get the Kalika Tantrika.
Okay, so let me just take a look at
It's a
that.
mysterious card.
So we've got a figure standing on a body. We've got this figure basically, I don't feel that that body's dead. I feel like it's about submission, actually. And I want to say I'm noticing the halo around the head, but I'm also seeing it as the moon. So I feel like when we talk about the moon presents illusion, right? It casts a soft light, but that light can be illusory. It's not all that it seems and all that it appears to be. So, you know, where we could look at this and say, okay, this person is standing over this body in triumph, like they've killed the body. And yeah, it looks like they're trying to depict a little bit of blood coming from there. What I feel is the word submission. So how can you harvest your gold from 2022? I feel like it's submitting to the reality, submitting to the truth of what you experienced, what you went through in 2022, what you felt in 2022. When you submit to the truth of that, then you're able to sort of rise out of that. And I think it's interesting that I'm seeing the moon, because the moon is about that truth versus illusion, right? The sun is the truth, the light of truth. And the moon is, but is it really? Or let's look at it from a different perspective. So I feel like for you, harvesting your gold from 2022 is really going to be doing an evaluation of kind of your year, and maybe go month to month and write down some key words for each month and really submit to the truth of it. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to beat yourself up over choices made. You don't even have to, I want to say, do a deep dive into it. It's a matter of submitting to what is, the truth of what is. So that's what I'm getting for you on that one. That's really cool. Let's look at the second one. What energy can I lean into to support my truth?
Total surrender is Devi Ma Kali, who's protecting me or humanity, which is like a baby, and she's a mother.
I love that. And I just said submission and you said total surrender. So we're talking about the same thing. So I definitely feel that message is sort of an important message for you. Submit and surrender. But here's the other thing that I'm seeing. That was my earthquake, not the cat's. Here's what I'm seeing for you when I'm looking at this. There's also a cradle of love. And I feel like the hands are representing source cradling you. And you as the new baby, it's more like you allowing yourself to get to know the new energy that we were just talking about. And even though in the last 3 years we've all been experiencing it, we had no choice but to experience it. It's in many ways, it's kind of been shoved down our throats. But I feel like for you, it's now being able to experience it from that space of innocence. It's not the birth canal, you've birthed. And so now it's experiencing that same energy that was tossing you around in the birth canal as peace. I'm getting this vision. Do you remember the movie Contact with Jodie Foster years ago? So in the movie Contact, they build this spaceship, right? They find these blueprints. They get these blueprints, they build this spaceship. And when she's going in, and she's the one who's going to be, supervising the guy going in, they want to, there's this thing in the center of the big room. The big room has nothing else in it except it doesn't even have a window. It's just this big random room. There's nothing in it except in the middle, there's this chair, but the chair isn't attached to anything. And so the engineers say, well, we have to attach the chair. It must not be part of the blueprints, or they must have forgotten it, but we have to attach the chair. And she's like, I don't think we should. You need to follow the blueprints exactly. And they don't follow the blueprints. They attach the chair. And when she ends up going through this thing, it's, oh my God, I'm okay to go. I'm okay to go. And her whole body is shaking. The chair is shaking. And you're like, oh my God, something's going to bust. As soon as that chair breaks from its bolts, there's peace. She's floating. And that's the whole point, is we think that we know better, but sometimes you got to just trust. You got to let go. You got to say, it doesn't need to be attached to anything. I just need to trust that chair is going to do what it needs to do. And that's what I feel for you. The energy that you can lean into to support your truth is that surrender as a baby, that I'm held. I'm cradled in the earth, or I'm cradled in source energy. And that's where the peace is. I don't have to do anything. I just need to sit in the chair. I don't need the chair to be attached. I just need to sit in the chair.
That's a profound message, Stacey. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you had seen the movie to make that. Everything with me is like 80s and 90s music references and movies. So now that, I'm forever 30, Keone and I we were joking about age earlier, but I'm forever 30. And when I come into people who are under 30, let's put it that way, I'm like, oh my God, everything that I say, they look at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. And so it's just, it's a reality check. So I'm glad that made sense to you.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Do we get today? Is there hand? Oh,
we have some hand.
Look at this. Here's the hand. Hi, thank you. Well, sending you guys lots and lots of love.
Thank you. Same to you guys, both of you.
Right. We'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Oh, you're muted.
Let's welcome live Mr. Richard Zirk.
All right. Rick, how are you?
Hello, Stacey.
What's going on in your world?
Well, you're one to ask.
Well,
you're all knowing.
I know a lot about what's going on in your world.
Well, I thought I'd come on and show Keone I'm a real person.
Right on. And now it looks like he's going to be dancing for everyone. Oh, you
I
guys.
told you sometimes they come on this show to talk to you, Stacy. I told you.
Of course. But it's always about you first. It's always about you. So are you going to pull some cards for me today, or do you want me to pull some cards for you?
I pulled out one. I didn't realize how many card decks I had until I started looking at them like, oh, okay. What I have is
Oh, messages from the mermaids. That's one I don't have, so I'm really excited to see this.
this is from Karen Kay. She lives on the coast of Wales in England.
Beautiful.
And I have two of her decks. This is one of them. So the first card I'm pulling, this is the back side.
Oh, beautiful.
The card I'm pulling, it just has a single word. Ooh.
Oh, positivity.
Positivity.
I love that. So the first question was, how can I harvest my goals in 2022? So it's looking at the positive. Always look on the bright side of life. It's the positivity, looking at all of the positives, or taking any perceived negatives and finding that silver lining to the piece. I also am just getting a quick little message for you about the harvest. I feel like there's something that you've yet to bring in off of the tree. And I feel like this is your spiritual tree. This is your energetic tree. And I feel like there's one sort of apple or one peach left on the tree. And it feels like it's a big peach, but it's hidden by the branches and the leaves. Like I feel like you have to kind of almost like clear a path in order to get it. And it has to do with heart opening and heart song is what I'm hearing. Heart song. And I feel like what you want to do to, okay, so they're talking about water and the mermaids and all of the water thing. I feel like you want to take a bath with some Epsom salts, and you want to put on whale music. So really diving into that whole water theme, the whole theme of the mermaids in the sea. And I feel that you will be plucking that peach from the tree, but you'll have to kind of clear the path. And I feel like the Epsom salts, the music, and just sort of that meditative state, or that relaxing. It's not meditative. I'm sorry. They're clarifying. It's a relaxing state. And you want to do this before the new year.
Okay. You chose your words well.
You'll have to let me know what comes through as a result of that. That's very random.
Oh.
Yeah.
For the second card, I just realized the images I picked are beautiful women.
Of course they are. Dive deep. Is that what it says?
Yes, it's dive deep.
Oh, I love it. So what energy can I lean into to support my truth? So it's diving deep into the truth. It's diving deep into your truth. It's not for you this week so much about limiting belief, as much as I feel it's about you. Well, I'm seeing you with a chisel. It's like a hammer and a chisel, and you're chiseling away. So there's something that's partially exposed, and you're chiseling away to get, I want to say, a wider scope or a wider vision of what you're chipping away. And what's really interesting about this is I feel like it's not that you don't do deep dives, but they're inviting you to do a deep dive in an area that you don't normally venture into. And I feel like this is internal, this is within. So I don't know if you do anything with plant medicine around your meditative experiences, but I feel like this could be something that could be unlocked through a plant medicine experience. And the deep dive is not an emotional deep dive, it's an energetic deep dive.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel like this week it's a week of practical homework for you on the spiritual level.
Homework.
I I know. Never. No. What is it? My mother used to say, "No rest for the wicked or the weary."
I'm tired, but I'm not that mean.
There we go. So it's the weary. I'm the wicked. So I own that.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Richard.
So nice to see your face.
Stunning development. I have a house full of 4 random house guests that I didn't know that was going to get here, and they knocked on the door, and I ran and opened it, and they're like, is this a bad time? I was like, no, I'm not entertaining. Yes, none of that's going on. I'm doing a show.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
All right. Let's see. Let's go. Sue Roush from Facebook says, I could use some guidance.
All right, Sue, I'm going to pull a card for you, and I'm going to pull from the Oracle deck for you. And let's just see what you need to know to find resolve for 2022. Ancestral realm, karmic release, healing the lineage and boundaries. So feeling for you, Sue, that this week as you're sort of wrapping up this year, you want to really meditate on or connect with what you have been through and how that either is in alignment with what your lineage has been through, your ancestral patterning has been through, or what you've been through that you can say you clearly are sort of breaking out of a cycle or breaking out of a pattern, or you're doing things differently. I feel like the karmic releasing is important, the karmic release. Now, I don't talk a lot about karma because I feel that in this new energy, it's moot. It's, again, we're packing light. We're not bringing the baggage of, hundreds of incarnations. We're bringing only what we need. But I feel like karmic release and karmic situations still do exist from a third dimensional perspective, and in some cases in some of our soul contracts. So I feel like for you, you want to really kind of take a look at the different experiences you've been through. And I want to say over the last 2 years, it's not even just in 2022, but you want to look at it in 2021 as well, and recognize where you feel that perhaps there has been some karmic residue that has peppered the experiences that you've had, and maybe peppered it or over peppered it, over spiced it, over salted it, where you're like, okay, I don't even want to eat this anymore. Like, it's not good. I feel like a lot of what is transpiring for you and through you is very connected to that ancestral healing that many of us are on the planet right now experiencing. We're breaking patterns from our paternal and maternal lineages. And we're doing it in some cases in really intense ways. Here's the thing, and this is what I'm receiving for you specifically, but I feel that it's also going to help others who are listening who may be going through the same thing. It's been rough, and it's been intense, and it's been non-stop. It's just been one thing after another after another. There's been so much, I want to say, just consistency of all of this heaviness. You're coming out of that. I feel that April is a month where you're really going to feel more at ease with yourself. You're going to feel a palpable lifting of the heaviness and the stress, and understanding that a lot of what has transpired, it's like you took one for the team. When you were up in the ethers and you were creating your blueprint with all your soul family, you said, okay, someone said, I need to learn this, or I need to do that, or I need to blah, blah, blah. And you're like, all right, sign me up. I'm going to do this and that and the other thing first. Then I'll come around, I'll do this, but then I get my cookie at the end of the day. And I feel like April is where you're getting the cookie. April is where things are going to lighten up and going to open up for you. So I want to say, hold on and understand that a lot of this stuff, even though it's happening to you and it's happening in your life and you can't mistake that, I'm feeling like for you, it's partially not about you. It's about you helping others, and you're going through it so that you can do it in the way that you're doing it, so that, because it's absolving people who weren't able to do it in your past, in your lineage. They didn't have the strength, they didn't have the stamina, they didn't have the courage to step in and do what you've done. And you've broken the cycle, and you've created healing down the lineage or within the lineage energetically. And you're now stepping into the path of, okay, I get to receive my cookie. And it's not just a cookie, it's going to be a plate of cookies, because you've worked hard. You deserve it. There's no rainbow in this card, but I want to say, I just keep, like, I'm looking at it in the vision, in the reflection here, and I just keep seeing a rainbow. Rainbow is about hope. It's about miracles. It's about the magic of everything. And I feel that you are the rainbow. You're bringing the rainbow. All of the colors that are in the rainbow represents all of the different levels of diversity and difficulty that you've gone through in order to be able to become the whole rainbow. So I want to say, hang in there. April feels like everything lightens up and brightens up. And I feel like I want to say thank you for submitting your question as well, because I feel that there are a lot of other people who are feeling the heaviness and the weightedness. I'm going to tell you honestly, myself included, the last 2 years have been absolute hell. I don't talk about it a lot because, what's the point? And a big part of my role is to empower. But I'm also recognizing that we can empower when we can share our struggles. When we can share the truth of what we're all sort of going through, because there's always going to be someone else out there who's going through it too, and they might not know anyone else that they can talk about it with or commiserate with. So I feel you, I understand, and it does get to the point where you just kind of throw your hands up and say, okay, what more? What more can you do? Like, I must have been a horrible person in a past life to deserve all of this, right? It's not about any of that. It's about you being so strong in your soul essence and in your desire to be of service that you've taken not just one for the team, you've taken 2 or 3 for the team. But now your plate of cookies is coming up. So get ready to pick your flavor. You can have chocolate chip, you can have peanut butter, you can have, caramel Snickers, whatever it is that you want. You can choose it and really step into that space of manifesting, really be clear on your vision. And I know you're probably going to want to gouge my eyeballs out because you're like, yeah, I manifest all this stuff every freaking day and it's not showing up. It will show up. It's on its way. A lot of what has transpired for you has been stuff that needed, like the decks needed to be cleared in order for there to be the light. But once the light is there, it'll never go away. So I feel like that's an important message for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to pull a card for you. And I really feel like this is a great message for you. So I wish it had a rainbow in it, but that's what I see. I see a rainbow for you. So you are the rainbow. Take that with you today. Soak it up. All right. Who's next?
Jade Provis, can I have a card pull, please?
Yes, Jade. Okay, I'm actually going to do an oracle for you as well. And we're going to do, what energy can you lean into to support your truth? Ooh, Jade, crystal skull wisdom, clarity, divine healing, high vibrational energy. So the phrase that stands out to me is divine healing. And I feel like for you this week, it's important that you not hang on to anything. You want to let go of pain. You want to let go of strife. You want to let go of, I want to say, any kind of resentments or things that you haven't really been able to resolve. And I know easier said than done. I'm not talking about bypassing. It's just literally like, okay, it is what it is. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it. And I'm literally coming into that divine healing space. I feel like your guides in particular are coming in right now to say they're going to give you that feeling of weightlessness. They're going to give you that. It's almost like they're giving you amnesia around the past so that you can really fully step into 2023. It's going to be a highly creative year for you specifically. And I feel like that creativity is going to bring you into some really interesting paths. Some of the paths you can see, you're already sort of walking the path. You're just going to be, further along it. And there are a couple of diversions that you're going to take that are going to be really exciting things. One of them I feel is going to be it's going to turn out to be a financial source of income down the line. But you can't get there if you're carrying too much. So the divine healing is a message. Your guides are saying, we're going to heal it for you because we know you've been working hard to heal it yourself and you need a leg up. You need some help. You need some support. We're going to give it to you. But in order for us to give it to you, you got to do something for us first. Like you got to get this done so that we can get into that layer and create that foundation. So I want to say big things coming up for you. So give yourself permission to not hang on to anything that you don't need to hang on to. Let it all go. Blank slate. You're like the baby in the hands, right? You're the baby who's just sleeping innocently because you're in that space of trust. It doesn't mean that everything that happened in the past hasn't had some effect on you. Of course it has had an effect on you. It's the reason that you are the person you are today. So look for those gold flakes, those gold nuggets, those gold chunks, right? It's the silver lining of things or the gold lining of things, and understand that healing is occurring, and it's going to occur. I want to say it feels almost like an overnight thing where you go to bed one night and you're feeling one way and you wake up in the morning and it's a whole different ball game, and it's never to return. It's not like you're 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, which is how it often is. It's not like that. They're saying, listen, we're going to handle it. We're removing it for you, but you got to do this one thing so that we can actually get into it. Remember, free will. They cannot step on our free will. So there are times when we have to kind of help ourselves while they're helping us at the same time. It's all about that permission and that reciprocity. Thanks so much for allowing me to pull a card for you today. I hope it makes some sense. And send in lots of love.
Wow. Heavy. Stacy, that was your last card reading on Demystify the Divine for 2022.
Oh my goodness, folks. I got to say thank you so much for being on this ride, this wild ride called life. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for your energy. I hope that everyone has the most amazing safe space, the most amazing release, the most amazing transformation from 2022 into the 2023 year. And I can't wait to see what this year brings for each of us. If you're looking for what you'd like to sort of see for yourself in 2023, give you some highlights and points to focus on, please feel free to check out my year-end preview service. It's very limited. There are only a few spots left. It's super popular. Would love to connect with you in January. I think I might have a couple spots still available for the end of this year, but it's pretty full. But I would love to see you in January. And everyone be safe. Happy New Year. And we're going to see you in 2023 for a fabulous year. Thanks, Keone.
Thank you. I owe you a dance, Raghu.